Welcome to Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. It's game one of a three-game series between the Red Sox and the Cleveland Indians. Welcome inside the broadcast booth, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo along with Jerry Remy. Welcome to Red Sox baseball. Well, the Red Sox have been playing very good baseball lately, and they welcome Stephen Drew back to the Boston Red Sox, and now he'll start tonight at shortstop. He's our Chevy key player.
Well, you know, if the Red Sox had got off down to a good start, and Xander Bogaerts was playing solid defensive and Will Middlebrooks didn't get hurt, the Red Sox probably wouldn't have signed Stephen Drew. But the fact is, none of those things happened. And so they went out and they signed Stephen Drew for $10 million for the rest of the year because they know what they're getting. If you look at last year's numbers, I mean, they're very, very solid. In 124 games, a .253 average, 13 home runs, 67 runs batted in offensively. But the most impressive thing, only the 8 errors all season long at shortstop. And that's when they went back out to get Drew to solidify this defense for the Boston Red Sox. Now they're really strong up the middle with Drew at shortstop, Pedroia at second, and Bradley in center field.
Brock Holt kind of left out of the left side of the infield now for the Red Sox. He will go to first base tonight. He's got to stay in the lineup. The way he's playing right now, he's 4 for 4 yesterday with 4 doubles, 2 RBIs, and a walk. He was on base 5 times. He's back in the lineup. Red Sox and Cleveland Indians coming your way next. Southwest Airlines, your New England Ford dealers, Dunkin' Donuts, Toyota's website for deals by Toyota.com, and by AT&T Mobility. We welcome you back to Progressive Field in Cleveland as the Red Sox and Cleveland Indians meet for the first of a 3-game series tonight. The Indians have taken the field, so let's check out the Red Sox starting 9 tonight. Brock Holt leading it off for Boston again, but he is at first base for the second straight day. Xander Bogaerts shifts from shortstop to third base with Dustin Pedroia at second base. David Ortiz, the DH, with A.J. Pierzynski doing the catching. Johnny Gomes in left field. Grady Sizemore, the longtime Cleveland Indian, back here again, but as a member of the Red Sox in right field. With Stephen Drew at shortstop in his 2014 debut. Jackie Bradley Jr. is in center. He bats ninth. On the mound tonight for the Indians, a former Red Sox right-hander, Justin Masterson. 13th start of the year, 2-4 with a 5.21 earned run average. Opponent sitting at 272 against Masterson. Look at all the walks as well. 33 walks on the year so far for him. A rain-shortened outing for him last time out against the White Sox. A rain delay kept him from continuing, but he went 3 innings, giving up 1 run.
The Indians' defense, the worst in the American League. They are last in the league with 56 errors in 57 games. Mike Aviles will be at third base as Drew Cabrera, the shortstop. Jason Kipnis at second, and Lonnie Chisenhall, the first baseman. Left to right, Michael Brantley, Michael Bourne, and David Murphy, and Yan Gomes doing the catching for Masterson.
Well, the Red Sox coming here to Cleveland for their only visit of the year, beginning this 3-game series as Brock Holt stands in on the left side. Masterson ready with the first pitch of the ball game, and it's in there for strike one. We're underway. Well, Brock Holt, a tremendous day yesterday for the Red Sox. 4 for 4, 4 doubles, 2 RBIs, a walk. He scored a run, and the average at .337 to start the night. Home run and 11 runs batted in for Brock Holt. So Holt leading it off again for the Red Sox here tonight, and interesting to see when Napoli comes off the DL what they do with Holt. Some discussion today that he may find his way to the outfield. Really, they've got to find a place for Brock Holt the way things are going offensively for him if he can continue what it is that he's doing. There's strike 3 for Justin Masterson. Brock Holt striking out, and still with the umpiring crew tonight. Phil Cuzzy has the plate tonight, calling the balls and strikes. Jerry Davis at first base, the crew chief Quinn Walcott at second base, and Greg Gibson is the umpire at third.
Now that was the slider from Masterson right there to pick up the strikeout against Holt.
Xander Bogaerts batting with 1 down in the inning. 1-0 pitch has him backing off the plate.
It's amazing when you look at the numbers. Right-handed hitters hitting .209 against Masterson. Lefties .322.
This is lined into left field. A base hit for Xander Bogaerts. So Xander with a 1-out ringing single to left field.
That's the first time he has faced Masterson. He gets the fastball from Masterson, and he again hits the ball very hard on the line up over the head of Cabrera, the shortstop, for the 1-out base hit.
1 down, 1 on, and Dustin Pedroia the batter. Pedroia at .272, 2 homers and 17 runs batted in. Pedroia did not get on base yesterday. He was 0 for 2 before he was ejected from the game yesterday for arguing. 1 for 6 in the series in its entirety against Tampa Bay. He's pitched down low. Retrieved by Yan Gomes. No advance at first for Bogaerts.
Now for those Red Sox who can run a little bit, they should be able to do so against Masterson. He's a big guy, tall. It takes him a long time to uncork that ball at home plate.
Roy take it all the way. Takes the strike as he was stepping out of the box. Because he didn't reach base safely yesterday, it snapped the 19-game on-base streak dating back to May the 10th for Pedroia. Take a pitch inside that has him jumping back. 3-1.
Right now, that fastball only about 88 miles an hour for Masterson.
Has been a concern for him. The lack of velocity is something that the Indians people pointing to lately for Masterson. There's a strike, full count. Terry Francona's Cleveland Indians coming in at 27-30. They have won their last 3 straight games, where they were 6 games back of the Tigers. American League Central. Runner goes, but it's ball 4 to Pedroia, down and away. First walk given up by Justin Masterson, and Red Sox have 2 on. Well, baseball is back in season, so gather 20 or more of your friends, family, and coworkers for a group outing at Fenway and secure exclusive access to seats. Call 877 Red Sox 9 or visit redsox.com/groups for more information. 2 on, 1 away here in the Boston first inning. And it brings up David Ortiz. Checking in at 262, 12 homers and 31 runs batted in. He was 1 for 10 in the series against Tampa Bay and only 2 for 13 on the homestand. They have a base hit against the Rays on Friday night, 1,681st base hit, and he passed Dominic DiMaggio. Took over sole possession of 8th place on the Red Sox all-time hits list. He's now 26 hits behind Harry Hooper for 7th place. It's a fly ball out to shallow right center field. Michael Bourne coming in to make the catch for the second out. So Big Poppy out number 2 down.
That was a slider that time for Matheson. He's basically got 3 pitches. That's a fastball that'll run back in on right-handers, the slider, and a changeup. And as Don mentioned, velocity on the fastball has been down. That's the slider on the outside part of the plate, and Ortiz pops it up to center field.
2 down, 2 on, and A.J. Brzezinski, the batter. He's 4 for 9 in the Tampa Bay series. Did not play yesterday. Totes a .288 average. Almost 27 runs batted in. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Tonight's key matchup is brought to you by Honda. Start something special with a great deal on a Honda. A.J. Brzezinski hitting at .389. 14 for 36 lifetime against Masterson. 4 doubles, 4 RBIs. Let's face him a lot when he was a member of the White Sox and in this division. As Brzezinski's now down 0-2. Indians at home playing good baseball. They're 18-11, but away from Progressive Field they are just 9-19. Again, the Terry Francona's team has won 3 straight games coming in. Brzezinski, of course, had the walk-off triple in the bottom of the 10th inning Friday night against Tampa Bay. It was his 6th career walk-off hit, and the first since a double back in 2009 against the A's when he was a member of the White Sox. This one kind of yanked down and in.
We mentioned it, Don. One of the alarming things about Matheson, the number of walks. Already has 1 in this game, and that was to Pedroia. 34 walks total on the season now for him.
A.J. Brzezinski riding a 10-game hitting streak coming in. Grounded foul. We'll do it again. 2-2. Numbers during the 10-game hitting streak up over 400 at 409. A full count, 3-2. Thomas can get a start. Xander Bogaerts at second base. Dustin Pedroia at first. 2 outs here in the top half of the first inning. There's Johnny Gomes waiting on deck. Brzezinski grounds it foul. We'll do it again. In scoring position, he's the leading Red Sox hitter in that category. NFL's Red Sox coming in winners of 7 straight. 7-29. Now 6 games back of the Blue Jays in the AL East. 3-2 again. Ball 4 and another walk again for Masterson. This time it loads the bases here in the first inning for the Red Sox. Walks in the first inning allowed by Masterson. First Pedroia, now Brzezinski. So a bases loaded opportunity with 2 down for Johnny Gomes. And, 236, 5 homers and 23 runs batted in. Relatively quiet series against Tampa Bay. Was 1 for 10 in the series against the Rays. Inside for ball 1.
Johnny Gomes has faced Masterson only 1 time in his career. He's 0 for 1. You see the career numbers with the bases loaded, 235 with 5 grand slams.
1 for 3 in that category this season with a grand slam for Johnny Gomes. Almost hits Gomes on a pitch inside, 2-0.
That fastball really running on Masterson to those right-handers running way inside.
Bases filled with Red Sox. Bogarts at third, Pedroia at second. Brzezinski at first with 2 down here in the first inning. Gomes will take ball 3, 3-0. And now Masterson cannot find the strike zone. Callaway, the pitching coach for the Indians, looking on. Some concern here in the first inning. Gomes taking all the way, takes strike 1.
And Masterson taking a little bit off that time at 89 just to get the ball over the plate.
There's strike 2, battles back, full count now. Everybody will be on the move. 2 outs in the inning, 3-2 the count. Bogarts, Pedroia, and Brzezinski on the bases for Boston. Gomes takes strike 3, and the Red Sox leave him loaded. Gomes down to 1 knee with his displeasure. Indians are coming up as Masterson gets out of it. Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the first inning. The Red Sox had a very good opportunity but could not score. The bases loaded. Let's check out the Indians starting 9. Michael Bourne leads it off in center field as Drupal Cabrera at shortstop. Michael Brantley in left field bats third with Jason Kipnis at second base. Lonnie Chisenhall at first base with Jason Giambi, the DH. Yan Gomes does the catching, batting 7th with David Murphy, former first-round draft choice for the Red Sox, and right, and Mike Aviles at third base, hitting at .326 in the last 10 games. First pitch in there for strike 1 to Michael Bourne. John Lackey on a roll lately as he deals with a pitch that is going to miss. A strike here to Bourne. It's a 288. 2 homers, 14 runs batted in. John Lackey 6-3, 3.27 earned run average. 12th appearance of the year for Lackey, and back-to-back shutout performances for Lackey. Tampa Bay 7 innings, giving up no runs. Last time out in Atlanta, 6 1/3, giving up no runs. 13 1/3 innings scoreless for Lackey. 3-1 pitch, a miss down low, and he walks first batter of the night. Michael Bourne down to first base. Well, tonight's Red Sox starting pitcher presented to you by your New England Audi dealers. Experience the all-new 2015 Audi A3 today. The rest of the numbers for John Lackey to go along with the 6-3 mark and 3.27 earned run average, 68 strikeouts, and against the Braves in 6 1/3 had 9 strikeouts and no walks in the win against Atlanta.
That's only the second walk he's had in his last 3 starts.
Bourne not a guy you want to put on as he gains his lead at first base. There's Drupal Cabrera. There goes Bourne right away. The throw from Brzezinski not going to be in time, and Bourne quickly steals second base. That's the reason you don't want to let him on.
Well, plus Lackey's very slow to home plate, and any chance they get to run, they will run on John Lackey. Bourne picks up his 5th steal of the season, been caught 3 times. But they get an excellent jump on him right there, and off to the races they go.
The Indians with the runner at second base. Nobody out here in the first inning. And Cabrera takes pitch down and in. Cabrera's got 14 home runs, right second among American League shortstops. So a chop foul off to the right side. Fans, you can test your Red Sox IQ right now with MLB Preplay mobile app. Download for free and start predicting every at-bat, every Red Sox game all season. Tonight, Preplay predicts John Lackey goes 6 2/3 with 6 hits, 3 earned runs, allow 1 walk, and strike out 7. 2-1 is line foul. It's 2-2 down to Cabrera. Here's his 7th straight opening day start. Currently the longest tenured member of this Cleveland Indians team. He dates back to 2007. So Michael Brantley waiting on deck for the Indians. Swing and a miss, and Cabrera strikes out Lackey's first K of the night.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. They are 8th in the league with 34 errors in 56 games. Xander Bogaerts at third base, Stephen Drew the shortstop, Dustin Pedroia at second, and Brock Holt the first baseman. Left to right, Johnny Gomes, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Grady Sizemore. A.J. Brzezinski doing the catching for John Lackey.
One down as Bourne is at second base. Still Michael Brantley the batter. Bats in 3 spot for the Indians. He has 7-9 homers, 40 runs batted in. High for ball 1.
Brantley really off to a terrific start this season for the Indians. Locked into that 3 spot in the batting order. 40 runs batted in already.
He started for him right out of the gate in March. Hit 500 in spring training this year for the Indians. On the ground, foul outside first. The Red Sox baseball is brought to you in part by Grimes Coffee Pouches, a healthy alternative to tobacco for professional baseball. For more information, visit getgrimes.com today. One out, Bourne at second base, and Michael Brantley the count of 1-1. strike two. He started against the Indians once last year, holding the Indians to 1 run. It was unearned in 7 innings of 2-hit ball, May 24th at Fenway Park. In the dirt, gathered by Brzezinski to advance for more.
That fastball that time from Lackey bouncing down in the dirt, and Brzezinski not trying to catch it, just block it. Keep Bourne at second base. Give Bourne a couple of different looks at second base, so he'll take off at third if you get caught in the pattern with him.
In the dirt again, and Brzezinski able to block it again. Full count now. Brzezinski out to talk here to Lackey. Off walk to Bourne. He stole second base. Then a strikeout of Asdrubal Cabrera. In the dirt, and there's ball 4. Down to first base goes Brantley. Second walk of the inning given up by John Lackey and 3 batters.
Now first base open, being very careful even here in the first inning with Brantley. Tried a curveball that time that was not even close to being a strike, so Brantley draws the walk. 2 for John here in the first inning, and they'll take their chances with Kipnis.
Jerry, I guess if there's one guy in this lineup you're not going to let beat you, it's Michael Brantley based on his numbers.
The way he's going so far this season, you're exactly right, Don.
Here's Jason Kipnis, the cleanup hitter, hitting at just .226. 3 homers, 12 runs batted in. And he'll take ball 1. Sheeran all-star for the first time. Last year in RBIs. First time since 1948 a second baseman has led the Indians in RBIs. Joe Gordon. Wicked ball drops in there for a strike.
It's the best curveball that Lackey has featured so far in this game tonight.
In the dirt again. Brzezinski's been busy here in this first inning.
Tried to snap off a number of curveballs, and the Indians aren't helping out by chasing bad pitches.
Runners in scoring position. It's been a struggle for Kipnis at 152.
Pretty patient group. The Indians, they're third in the league in walks.
On the ground, shot to first, picked and corralled by Holt. He will tag the bag at first. Brock Holt, nice play down there. Ball kind of exploded on him. And he makes the grab and tags the bag. 2 down.
Yeah, it looked like that last hop had a lot of top spin on it. It was ready to bounce up over his glove, but the quick hands of Brock Holt, as you'll see right here. Yeah, that second hop. He's able to kind of lay it and just pick it. Get the out at first base. So 2 men get in the scoring position, but the Red Sox pick up the second out of the inning.
Warren to third, Brantley to second. Lonnie Chisenhall coming up. He's 61 average, 3 homers, 16 runs batted in. Down the left field line, falling fast and falling in for a hit. Bourne will score. Brantley behind him. It is a 2-run base hit to left. And the Indians jump out of the 2-0 lead. The walks are costly for John Lackey as they both turn into runs.
Two-out bloop down that left field line will score 2 runs. It's a fastball. It's away. Inside-out swing and just a little flare down that left field line to bring in 2 runs. The Red Sox will have to battle from behind early in this ballgame.
Chisenhall at first base, and Jason Giambi now standing in and taking strike 1. He was on the DL into spring training into the beginning of the year until April the 20th. Fractured rib. Suffered in spring training just 3 games into the spring. Lifted in the air to left field. Johnny Gomes coming in, and he put it away to end the inning. But a pair of runs in the first for the Indians. We'll check in on the sign poll. We come back.
Tonight's poll question: which Cleveland team will win a championship next? How about Sox 1 for the Cleveland Browns, Sox 2 for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Sox 3 for the Cleveland Indians? Text your answer 536-536. Message and data rate, those may apply. Text help if you need it. Visit NESN.com/terms for the legal stuff. Guys, I'm not sure if this is a rhetorical question or not.
Cavaliers jumping out quick, though, Gary, right out of the gate there.
That's somebody that forgot that LeBron James is not playing for Cleveland anymore.
That's true, Gary. Took his talents to South Beach, right? Yeah. Sizemore, the former Cleveland Indian, leading it off here for the Red Sox here in the second inning. Sizemore, Drew, and Bradley Jr.
Things are starting to jump around now, Doc.
Sizemore after the 1-1 fouls it off over by the Red Sox dugout. Ready to get him start in right field. So years here in center field for the Cleveland Indians. And a lot of them injured within the last 2 years. Masterson wild here so far in the early going. Velocity not what it was before. It's a different look here from what we're used to with Justin Masterson. Sox unable to take advantage of that. In the first inning, he walked 2, had the bases loaded, but one struck out looking as Sizemore down the left field line will send it foul. And there's a brand new show coming soon on NESN. NESN Live, presented by Cross Insurance. Your pregame to the pregame show. Fresh new look at New England sports. Monday through Friday. Get to know Elle Duncan and Sarah Davis in this new interactive show. Stay tuned in June. Francona's Indians on top 2-0 here in the second inning. Sizemore gets jammed and pops it up left side of the infield. Mike Aviles puts it away for the first out of the second inning.
They're talking about Masterson, and last year he faced the Red Sox twice, and the Red Sox beat him twice. Had a 7.36 ERA against Boston last season.
One down in the return of Stephen Drew. His numbers in his rehab stint, both in Single-A Greenville and Triple-A Pawtucket, were 5 for 21 during that time. And we were saying off the top tonight, you know, if the Red Sox had started the way that they're playing right now, perhaps they would not have signed Stephen Drew.
Yeah, you know, we're talking about that in the open. The fact that had they got off to a good start, had they not had injuries to guys like, say, Middlebrooks, and he was playing the way he was capable of playing, and the defense had been better, all those things combined, you probably wouldn't have Stephen Drew right now. But that didn't happen. Xander Bogaerts making his move from shortstop to third base tonight.
One thing you know you're getting is a short-handed shortstop.
Well, we had the graphic in the open done. He made 8 errors last year at shortstop. Bogaerts already has 6 this year at this point of the season.
In the dirt, and Drew draws a walk. It's the third walk already allowed by Masterson. On that walk, and Jackie Bradley Jr. coming up. Like Napoli expected back on Sunday. And the Red Sox would be in Detroit. Some conversation today about what happens for Brock Holt then. Some talk about maybe the outfield. They're going to find a way for this guy. He continues to hit the way he is. They'll find a spot for him someplace.
Look, they need a leadoff hitter, and if he continues to hit and get on base and wear down pitches the way he does, you're right. They do have to find a spot for him. And that spot's not somewhere sitting on the bench or Pawtucket.
Jackie Bradley Jr. batting out of the 9th spot. 2 for 11 in the series against Tampa Bay. 4 for 18 on the homestand. And a foul tip. For Masterson, 8th career start against his former team tonight. 3-3, 4.23 earned run average. His first win against the Red Sox since August 4th of 2011. That was at Fenway Park. Beat him here for the first time in Cleveland since 2010. A complete game shutout against the Red Sox. Swing and a miss for Jackie Bradley Jr. Strikes out. That was the 3rd strikeout of the game for Justin Masterson. 2 down.
Now let him run on this pitch away from Jackie Bradley and sinker down and away and no contact. If he makes contact with that pitch, he probably hooks into second base, and it probably ends up in a double play.
2 down, Drew at first, and Brock Holt top of the order. It's his second look at Masterson tonight. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frostbrewed Coors Light. Brock Holt is the first rookie since Adam LaRoche in 2004 to hit 4 doubles in a single game. It's just the 6th Red Sox to accomplish that feat since 1914. 4 for 4 yesterday. Also mixed in a walk and was on base 5 times.
Those are the kind of games you have as a player where you don't want it to end. You just want to keep playing because you just feel so comfortable. You know that every time you get up, you got to make good solid contact.
And for a strike to Holt. Masterson's career here at Progressive Field is 24 and 24 with a 3.35 earned run average. Sails away. It's 3-1. for a strike. Holt thought he might have had ball 4, but he gets some bad news from Phil Cousin. Full count.
Have a borderline pitch right here at the bottom of the strike zone to Holt.
On the ground right side and moving to his left is Kipnis. A bobble stays with it and still is able to get Brock Holt at first base. Close play as Kipnis gets him to end the inning. Inning and a half done. Indians have a 2-0 lead. We'll get a view for you, an unusual view. We come back after this. Bottom of the second inning back at Progressive Field in Cleveland. The Indians have a 2-0 advantage. They get to John Lackey for 2, and Lonnie Chisenhall drove both in with his single as Yan Gomes leads it off here in the second inning for the Tribe. Gomes a catcher, then David Murphy and Mike Aviles in the second inning. And there for strike 2. 266 coming into tonight's game. 6 homers, 19 runs batted in for the Indians catcher. Swing and a miss, and Lackey picks up his second strikeout. That one up and away, and Gomes chases it for the first out of the second inning.
Now both strikeouts for Lackey in this game so far tonight in his fastball. He got Cabrera on that, an outside fastball in the first inning, and a fastball there to get Gomes.
One down for David Murphy, the former first-round draft choice of the Red Sox. Murphy at 270. And he'll send it back up the middle into center field, a base hit. Second Indians hit of the night.
Jerry, my view tonight is actually from last year.
The last time that I saw the manager of the year trying to get away from him in the Red Sox dugout, as I was assaulted. You may recall last season.
Yes, there was some talk about prosecuting.
Yes, it gave some consideration.
Yes.
Letting authorities know about this. He was attacked in the Red Sox visiting dugout at Fenway Park. This was a regular occurrence when he was the manager of the Red Sox. And a once-a-year thing now. So I did not go down there today. I was texted and asked to come down there, but that's what would have happened today. I went down there, so I didn't go down there.
I don't blame you.
No, and my plan is not to see him the entire series. I'm going to avoid him. No real reason to see him.
One out, one on. Mike Aviles, former Red Sox infielder, hitting at 286. for a strike, and let's get your video wherever you're at tonight watching the game, or if you happen to be here in Cleveland, part of Red Sox Nation. Text 536 keyword on TV. Maybe Terry Francona attacked you somewhere. Maybe you have a video someplace. Entirely possible. Check swing for Aviles. Did he go? No. As they check with Jerry Davis.
Take a look from the side from Aviles, and no, he did not go on that swing, or attempted swing.
On the ground, could be two. Drew will flip the second for one. A little trouble getting it out of his glove, but plenty of time to spare there for Pedroia. A double play ends the second, a 2-0 Indians lead. Indians on top of the Red Sox as we head here to the top half of the third inning. Justin Masterson back to the hill. He has walked 3, struck out 3. So far only given up 1 hit. As Xander Bogaerts leads it off. Takes a pitch and runs inside. Seems like all Masterson's stuff kind of runs.
Yeah. That sidearm delivery, 3/4 delivery, and the ball really takes off inside on right-handers and away from left-handers.
His 13th start of the year, coming in at 2-4. He's 29 years of age now. And he jumps ahead 1-2.
Slider that time for Masterson, a high slider, but still picks up the strike.
And he strikes out Bogaerts. Back with the fastball, the velocity improving. It's 92 miles an hour, his 4th K.
After the breaking ball, which was actually a pretty good pitch to hit for Bogaerts, he comes back with the fastball. He runs it up and in, and picks up the strikeout. So Xander 1 for 2 tonight off Masterson.
67 total games. Mostly out of the pen for Boston. When he arrived in Cleveland after the deal for Victor Martinez, at the time they weren't sure what to do with him. Kind of like the Red Sox. Is he a starter? Is he a reliever? I mean, he doesn't have a lot of pitches. And he has been primarily a starter here with the Indians.
At times with great success, other times just so-so.
For the first 10 starts of last year, 7-2. As Pedroia jumps back out of the way of the pitch inside. .445 earned run average last year. In fact, it's the most wins he's had. This is in the left field. A base hit for Dustin Pedroia. Second Red Sox hit of the night. 1 out, 1 on as we check in with Gary Streisky.
So, guys, everybody has to start somewhere, and that includes Indians 2013 All-Star Justin Masterson, who, of course, spent some time with the Red Sox in their system back in 2008. And I was talking to first base coach Arnie Baylor, who, back in 2008, was the manager of the AA Portland Sea Dogs, and he said Masterson was his very first big league call-up. He called him up in April and said, hey, you're going to the big show. Masterson, of course, pitched for the Red Sox April 24th, 2008 against the Anaheim Angels, and got his first win 1 month later for the Red Sox. So Baylor actually should be credited for Masterson's at least entrance into the big leagues, or at least he called him up into it.
Well, one of the great thrills that managers have at the minor league levels, no question, is to be able to tell a player that they are headed to the big leagues. There's so much bad things that managers have to do at the major league level at times, sending guys back down to the minor leagues and back down to AAA. Very difficult, but certainly pleasurable for the minor league managers. He was a very good minor league manager, both in Portland and in Pawtucket. Coming up here to join the major league staff.
It seems like recently the manager of AAA has had to do that a lot. Tell a player that they're going up. Diego Nava rejoining the Red Sox today.
Yeah, like Cart going on the DL.
Yeah.
A fractured foot. There's ball 4, and Big Poppy's headed down to first base. Fourth walk given up by Masterson already. Foxwoods Resort Casino is the official resort casino and proud partner of the Boston Red Sox. 2-on, 1 away here in the third inning. Daniel Nava back with the Red Sox again. Up and down he goes this year. Very different from last year's experience. He was able to spend the season with Boston and get up over 300. A.J. Brzezinski with a walk in the first inning. Now a grounder off the glove of Masterson with kick to Kipnis to Cabrera on to first. To double play that wraps up the top of the third inning. 2.5 done, 2-0 Cleveland. Nothing. Indians have the lead over the Red Sox as we head to the bottom of the third inning. And John Lackey back on the mound. Listen to the pitch up top. Well, ball 1. Michael Bourne let it off, of course, in the bottom of the first inning. Walked and scored, and leads it off here in the third. Fly ball center field, sending Jackie Bradley Jr. back into a full sprint, and he can't get it. It's up over his head. How do we get it on the warning track? But Bourne, who can fly, is headed for 3. Throw is off the mark, and he's at third base with a triple. Let's get over the head of Jackie Bradley Jr. Bourne threw it into another gear and gets to third base to begin the bottom of the third inning.
Yeah, and even if the Red Sox had been able to execute the cutoff properly, they still would have not gotten Bourne at third base. He's hustling right out of the box. Bradley Jr. going as hard as he can, leaps, cannot get it. And there's Bourne rounding second, heading into third base with no problem. So he's been on base twice already, has a stolen base in this game.
Extends his hitting streak to 6 games with that triple to center field. That was Drupal Cabrera, who struck out swinging in the first inning. One of 2 strikeouts tonight for John Lackey. Down and in, 2-0.
Red Sox playing the infield back with nobody out in the inning.
On the ground right side and into right field, a base hit for Asdrubal Cabrera. Michael Bourne will score, and the Indians take a 3-0 lead against John Lackey and the Red Sox. Cabrera driving his 17th run.
Yeah, pulling that curveball from John Lackey and pulling it past the dive of Dustin Pedroia at second base. It's the breaking ball, and Cabrera, who looked bad in his first at bat, swinging at a bad pitch away. This time picks up the base hit. 17th RBI of the season for Cabrera. And he'll also run. He's got 4 steals on the season. Caught 1 time.
His lead held on by Brock Holt. Michael Brantley standing in. He walked and scored in the first inning. Side. Ball on a strike down to Brantley. .79 earned run average coming in for Lackey in 6 career starts here at Progressive Field. He's already given up 3 runs tonight. Chopper to first. Holt's going to go to second for 1. Back to first with Holt covering. He is not in time. Really beats it out. They get the lead runner in Cabrera for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, Lackey points to John Farrell to come out and have this checked possibly at first base. Take a look at Holt as he quickly spins and throws to second, gets back to first base. The return throw from Drew. See if we get a different look at it from a different angle. Oh, from that angle, looked like he was out.
Yeah.
But the Red Sox, they are going to challenge this. And it's one they may win. And from that angle there, it looks like the Red Sox did have the double play. Looked like it was in the glove of Holt before Brantley got to first base.
Crew chief Jerry Davis with the headset on, along with Greg Gibson, as they talk with New York. Learning all the nuances of being a first baseman, having to throw to second, then get back to the bag at first and cover on the double play.
Well, he does a pretty good job. The throw's not perfect to Drew, but not a disaster either. And not much of a stretch at first base by Holt. And that's going to be a tough play to learn, the 3-6-3, in a very short period of time that he's had to work on it.
You think of a tougher player as a first baseman that he'd be involved in?
You know, we talked about some of that yesterday. You know, about different positionings on bunt plays, on cutoff plays, the 3-6-3, obviously. When to play the line, not to play the line. Of course, you get the help from the dugout for that. But there's a lot of things. It's just not moving, changing gloves. And they do call it double play.
So, double play. So the Red Sox, glad that they challenged that. It was a 3-6-3 double play.
You know what was right on top of that was Lackey. Lackey was over there close to covering first base, and he pointed right away into the dugout to have Farrell challenge.
Two down, bases empty, a run in. And Jason Kipnis, the batter, as Kipnis grounded out to first base in the first inning. Down the right field line, foul for Kipnis. It's time now for the Leahy Health System injury report. Red Sox injury update. Mike Carp, fourth metacarpal fracture of his right foot as he was placed on the 15-day DL retroactive to yesterday. It's a ground ball softly hit right side. Holt needs Lackey to cover, and he'll get there just in time to retire Jason Kipnis and to end the inning. The run for the Indians. They lead it 3-0. Who care about your community. Eastern Bank is committed to putting you first. Learn all the ways Eastern Bank puts you first at easternbank.com. It's on to the top of the fourth inning. Back here in Cleveland. Red Sox trailing 3-0. Masterson. There's a Johnny Gomes, Grady Sizemore, Stephen Drew scheduled to bat in the inning. Gomes struck out looking. First inning with the bases loaded. Slider he chases 0-2.
That slider has to be so hard for right-handers to pick up. That slingshot delivery by Masterson.
Swing and a miss, and Gomes down by way of the K again. This time swinging. 5 strikeouts for Masterson.
Yeah, first time with the fastball, this time with that slider. Back-to-back sliders to pick up the strikeout against Gomes.
One down here in the fourth inning brings up Grady Sizemore. He popped out to the third baseman Mike Aviles in the second inning. It off himself, and it heads all the way out to shortstop.
Well, this is the field where Grady Sizemore had many good years for the Cleveland Indians.
As a member of the tribe, 892 games, 39 home runs, with 134 Ks, or stolen bases rather, not Ks. Don't be bad at all. A swing and a miss as Sizemore strikes out this time. Speaking of Ks, that is 6 strikeouts from Masterson, 2 down.
And Masterson finding his slider here in the fourth inning. That's how he got Gomes, and that's how he gets Sizemore going down and in, which generally is a pretty good pitch to hit for a left-hander. But that time, no contact by Sizemore.
2 down here in the fourth inning, and it brings up Stephen Drew. Agreed to terms of the Red Sox on May 21st to a 1-year contract. End of the season. A brief rehab for him between Greenville and Pawtucket. 3 games with Greenville, 4 games with Pawtucket, and here he is. After last year playing in 124 games in the 2013 regular season. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. But Gibson rings him up as Drew strikes out. Masterson strikes out the side in order on 9 pitches. 3-0 Indians. Back in Cleveland as the Indians have a 3-0 lead over the Red Sox. We head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Lonnie Chisenhall leading it off. And lining one to left. Johnny Gomes coming in and over on the sinking liner. Just lost that in the light bank, it looked like. And he makes the catch on Chisenhall for the first out. Eastern Bank knows small business keeps our economy and community strong. That's why they've been named the #1 SBA lender in Massachusetts 5 years in a row. Eastern Bank, here you're first. One down in the fourth inning is Jason Giambi. Takes strike one. He'll be flied out to left field in the first inning. 0 for 1. fractured rib that he suffered during spring training, but also a little pain in the back on the DL for the second time this year. Big calf strain. 4 through the 19th. Good numbers against John Lackey at .317 during the course of his career. Giambi going the other way to deep left field. Johnny Gomes going back to make the running catch on the warning track. Nice running catch by Johnny Gomes as that ball was headed towards the track in left center. By the .325 mark back there. 2 down.
Gomes really had to cover a lot of ground to get to this ball. Giambi, they play him to pull. They put the shift on him in the infield, but pretty much straight up in the outfield. And that gave Gomes an opportunity to get back and make this play. Right on the warning track and about 4 steps from the wall.
2 down, 4 in a row, retired by Lackey. And brings up Yan Gomes. Struck out swinging in the second inning. Giving up 2 runs in the first. He walked 2, and all the walks turned into runs. A 2-run single by Lonnie Chisenhall. Rounder foul to the end of the Indians dugout. The Red Sox Foundation helps children play ball for fun, for health, and for life. One way they do this is through the RBI program, reviving baseball inner cities. We salute our friends at HB Hood who support the Red Sox Foundation. Play ball for life. Hold back 1-2. Murphy waiting on deck. 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Foul down the right field line.
Indians, Red Sox, the Indians 8th in the league in team batting average. The Red Sox 11th in the league in team batting average. On the pitching side, the Red Sox 3rd in the league in ERA. Cleveland 8th in the league in ERA.
And Cleveland kind of in the middle of the pack in a lot of different categories, with the exception of defense. They are dead last in fielding percentage. They come in having made 56 errors. That is 12 errors more than the next team in the American League, the Chicago White Sox. Tops in the American League, the Baltimore Orioles, just 26 errors in 55 games. 2-2. He's on the ground is short. Stephen Drury gobbles it up. And John Lackey enjoys his first 1-2-3 inning of his outing. It's 3-0 Indians. BB Mason's wide selection of Green Mountain Coffee K-Cup packs will keep you running and guarantees to satisfy any fan base. Order by 11:30 a.m. and get it free same-day delivery. Who but WB Mason? 3-0 Indians on top of the Red Sox as the player into the 5th inning. Justin Masterson, fresh off his best inning of his outing, struck out the side in order. Sizemore and Drew in succession in the 4th inning. As Bradley Jr. lines it to center field. In comes Bourne to make the catch. Letter high.
Now 3 strikeouts for Masterson in the 4th inning. He got Gomes with a slider. He gets Sizemore with a slider. And then he gets Drew with a slider. So the slider, a big pitch for him last inning against both right-handers and left-handers.
One down here in the 5th inning. Top of the Red Sox order. Brock Holt had the 4-hit day yesterday. There's no hits here tonight. As he takes that breaking ball again for a strike. Holt struck out looking in the 1st inning. Grounded out to second base in the 2nd. Season high in strikeouts for Masterson is 9. It's April 18th against the Toronto Blue Jays, and so far tonight 7 strikeouts for Masterson. Watch Sox at 2 every game night at midnight. Presented by Kiel Vodka. Stay balanced. Out here in the 5th inning. 0-2 the count to Brock Holt. Stays alive and fouls it off the on-deck batter. Alexander Bogaerts on the foot. They're all right. On the ground, fielded by Masterson. Throws out Brock Holt at first base. He's able to turn around the base of the hill to grab that. 2 down in the inning. Now, fans, if you didn't know, ESPN and Fox have picked their selections of games for the season. Make sure you know what channel to watch by downloading the 2014 Red Sox season schedule. Visit NESN.com/schedule now. Two down here in the 5th inning. Xander Bogaerts 1 for 2. Single in the 1st, struck out swinging in the 3rd, and takes strike 1.
Right now, Masterson in a very good groove. Red Sox haven't had a hit since back in the 3rd inning.
Good feeling he has settled in after some early shakiness in the 1st inning.
And the Red Sox let him off the hook. The bases loaded in the 1st inning. Got Johnny Gomes to strike out.
Boston has left 5 men on. Swing and a miss, and that's 8 strikeouts for Masterson, who's now retired 7 in a row. Red Sox. A restaurant right inside here at Progressive Field down the left field line. David Murphy taking it off here for the Tribe. 9-1 for Cleveland. For single to center field in the second inning. It's 1-2. Now, for every Red Sox hit in June, Echo Store Technologies will donate $50 to the Sean Thornton Foundation. Echo Store is proud to assist the Sean Thornton Foundation in helping find a cure for Parkinson's disease and pediatric cancer. To learn more, log on to echostore.com. Echo Store Technologies, your data center solutions provider. Base hit for David Murphy to open up the bottom of the fifth inning as we send it down to Gary.
Guys, it's been a pretty busy couple weeks for Brock Holt, whether at the plate on the left side of the infield or now, just as recently of yesterday, at first base. Now, of course, the career infielder has never played first base at any level until yesterday. He made his debut, so naturally, and no fault to his own, he doesn't have a first baseman's glove. Brian Butterfield tried to get him to use Mike Napoli's, but that's against the bro code. Infielders don't use each other's gloves, so instead he used teammate Alex Hassan's glove because he's an outfielder, and it seems to be working, guys. You saw the couple plays he made earlier on in the game, and he's breaking it in, and he's liking it so far.
Trying to pick one there on the double play bid by the Red Sox. Could not dig it out of the dirt, and reaching at first as it is. Murphy retired at second.
Yeah, a little bobble right there into the throwing hand by Bogaerts, and then the return throw to first base could not be dug out of the dirt by Holt. Those are plays that he was out there very early this afternoon working on.
One out, one on. Top of the order, Michael Bourne coming up here. A lot being made of Holt at first base, but how about Bogaerts going back to third base?
Yeah, another adjustment done. You know, it is on the same side of the infield, which does help, but it's a totally different position. I mean, you're right on top of the action. It's all quick reactions at third base. Where it's shortstop, you have time to read the ground ball, set himself up. Don't have that luxury at third base.
You think it sets back his development at all now to go back to third base after working so hard at short?
You know, who knows where this kid's going to end up? You know, you don't know. If he might end up being a third baseman permanently. He might grow into that. You know, he's still got growing to do. He's 21 years old.
There he goes, fouled off by Bourne.
I'm going to say Murphy, you know, he's 2 for 2 tonight against Lackey. He's now 9 for 21 in his career against John Lackey. Lackey just kind of looked at it after he got the base hit and said, what do I do now? How do I get you out?
Lewis at first base, one down here in the fifth. Bourne has been on twice, a walk and a triple, and he has scored twice. The triple extended his hitting streak to 6 games. Right side and through by the dive with Pedroia into right field. Lewis stops at second as the throw comes back in. Third time Michael Bourne has been on tonight for the Indians.
Yeah, he has been a pain from the top of the lineup tonight. Walk to stole a base, a triple, now a single. Lackey going to the breaking ball again, and this time Bourne past the dive of Pedroia.
Line for John Lackey, brought to you by Ace Ticket. 4 to third, 6 hits, 3 runs. There's walk 2, struck out 2, 60 pitches deep into his out. Giving up a run in back-to-back outings, and 13 and a third coming into this game. He got 2 right out of the gate tonight in the first, a run in the third. 2 on, 1 away as Drupal Cabrera. On the ground is short, could be 2. Touching second is Drew, and he fires to first for the double play. Nicely done. Stephen Drew back in a Red Sox uniform again. That start. It's 3-0 Indians. So look at tomorrow's starting pitchers. Jake Peavy, 11 starts, 1-2 with a 4.50 earned run average, 68 innings pitched. TJ House will be on the mound for the Tribe. 0-1 with a 4.05 earned run average in 2 starts. Closer Look is brought to you by FW Web. For an even closer look, visit FWWeb.com. 6th inning back in Cleveland. Dustin Pedroia leading it off and taking strike 1 from Justin Masterson. Has been aboard twice, a walk and a single against Masterson, former teammate. This one carved foul, 0-2. Masterson with 8 strikeouts, season high is 9. There's a walk 4. He strikes out Pedroia to equal that season high. 9 strikeouts now for Masterson.
Well, you'd never know that Masterson had been struggling going into this game tonight. I mean, he's got a lot of movement on that fastball, and that one rising and going back into Pedroia.
One down here in the 6th inning brings up David Ortiz. He was flying out center and walked. Has taken losses in each of his last 3 starts against Boston. Enjoys a 3-0 lead tonight, working here to the 6th inning and working very well since the 1st. And then he get out of a bases loaded jam. Strike out of Johnny Gomes. Sox been held just 2 hits, singles by Bogaerts and Pedroia. Now Ortiz into the shift and in through it into right field. So Ortiz aboard with the 3rd Red Sox hit. It's time for a Toyota game break in. Tom Karen, TC.
The batter for Boston, catcher AJ Ferguson.
All right, Tom, thanks very much. Back here at Progressive Field in Cleveland, where the Red Sox trail 3-0. Jay Brzezinski fouls it off Arnie Baylor, first base coach.
Yeah, he refuses to limp. He will not limp. And that had to hurt. One hot shot down to Baylor, and he takes it like nothing ever happened.
Check swing by Brzezinski. Takes the ball 1-1, didn't go. This is Greg Gibson. On the ground could be 2. Kipnis will flip the second for 1. On to first. It is 2. That's the top of the 6th inning. Masterson rolling right along with a 3-0 lead. official resort casino and power partner of the Boston Red Sox. Last time of the 6th inning, Indians on top of the Red Sox 3-0. John Lackey back out there. It's been fairly economical as he works here into the 6th inning, having thrown 62 pitches. Trailing 3-0 as Brantley leads it off and takes strike one. Walking the first scored a run, that bounced into a 3-6-3 double play in the 3rd inning. Actually was called safe at first, but a play that the Red Sox challenged and won the challenge. And Brantley strikes out. It's the 3rd strikeout for Lackey. It's not been a big strikeout night. His first strikeout since the 2nd inning.
And Lackey again going to the breaking ball down and into Brantley. That kind of a blind spot for a lefty. It starts off as a strike, ends up off the plate, and you lose sight of it.
Insurance, great service, great coverage, and a great price for auto, home, or life insurance. We're out in the 6th inning. Jason Kipnis grounded out to first base twice. Pulls it off, down 1-2. Time of the DL, the end of April. May the 27th, second time in his career that he was placed on the DL. A strained right oblique muscle. Injured against the Angels back on April 29th. Line opposite field, base hit for Jason Kipnis. Bobble out there for Gomes, but no further advance for Kipnis. A 1-out base hit. For every Red Sox game that goes into extra innings or the Sox get a save, CVS Pharmacy will make a donation to Boston Children's Hospital towards a $25,000 donation once again this season. CVS Pharmacy is the official pharmacy of the Boston Red Sox. Kipnis at first base and Lonnie Chisenhall coming up. It was Chisenhall's 2-run single in the first inning. They got the scoring started. Runners at second and third, got a base hit to left. Runner goes, and the throw from Brzezinski is a good one. He is safe at second base. The call. It looked like the ball beat him there, but did the tag is the question. Looked like he had him, and here comes John Farrell to argue.
Yeah, the throw, no question, beat him to second base. Was the tag there? That's the question now. Head first slide by Kipnis. Does he get the hand in? Should get a better look from this angle. Looks like he may have got the hand in as the tag was up around the elbow.
John Farrell is not going to challenge it, so apparently he was safe. The rules that the Red Sox got to look at and get a look here.
Yeah, watch the glove. Watch where the tag comes. It's up around the elbow, and the hand is on the bag.
Stolen base for Kipnis, 1 out, and Chisenhall. On the count, 0-2 down. Indians have not scored since the 3rd inning. They've got a run. Surrounded there by Brzezinski.
Multiple signs by Brzezinski with a man at second base in scoring position. Obviously, you can't get trapped in throwing down just one sign. It's so easy to pick up for that runner at second base. The other thing you got to be careful about is giving location for the man at second base.
On the ground, shot to first and picked by Holt. He'll run to the bag for the second out of the inning. But Kipnis advances to third base with now 2 down. Want an easy way to pay for your Dunkin' Donuts? Download Dunkin's free mobile app. With the app, you can load a DD card and pay right from your phone. Receive exclusive mobile offers, enroll in auto recharge, and instantly send DD gift cards. Message and data rates may apply. For full terms of use, visit www.dunkindonuts.com. Red Sox Nation runs on Dunkin'. 2 down in the 6th inning. Jason Kipnis at third base and Jason Giambi takes strike 1. Giambi has flied to left twice last time to the warning track. John Gomes made the catch back by the 325 marker. On the ground, right side shift is on, and it is Drew on the right side of the infield who throws out Giambi. 3-0 Indians at the end of 6. We'll get you some pop-up facts back from Cleveland. Tweet your photo to hashtag NESN Fan Photo for a chance to be shown in our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Tonight's fan photo is from Cat W8, who sends in a photo of this young Red Sox fan's very first game. Justin Masterson with a 3-0 lead. Facing Johnny Gomes for the 3rd time tonight. He's taking strike 1. He is 0 for 2, striking out twice. Mark Stepchenski is up in the pen for the Indians, former Toronto Blue Jay. 1 pitch low and away, 1-1. Both Sizemore and Drew to bat here in the 7th inning. Sox have been held to 3 hits so far in the game. Ground foul outside of third. Gomes tried to hold up, may have gone. They're going to check. He did not. It's Jerry Davis, first base umpire.
That's that big sweeping breaking ball again that he got Gomes on last time, and this time Gomes barely holding up. That one could have gone either way.
The Gomes were lifted in the air to shallow left center. Brantley coming over and under to make the catch for the first out of the 7th inning. Well, tonight's suits are designed by Joseph Abboud, custom made in the USA from fine Italian fabrics. Now available at Men's Warehouse. One out in the 7th inning. Grady Sizemore coming up here for the Red Sox. Sizemore popped out. Third baseman in the 2nd, struck out swinging in the 4th inning. Rifle foul off to the left, 0-2. Sizemore now, Stephen Drew waiting on deck. Longest outing of the year for Masterson. 7 to 3rd innings, and he has done it on 2 different occasions. Wanted that, just missed it. 2-2.
Sure did. Grady Sizemore lucky he's still standing at the plate right now. That was close enough to be called a strike.
Will not be standing at the plate anymore as he swings and misses. That is 10 strikeouts for Justin Masterson. 2 down.
Yeah, a lot of strikeouts coming on the breaking ball too, especially since about the 4th inning in this ball game. Back to the slider again, up and away. Not a great pitch, but no contact by Sizemore.
Two down for Stephen Drew. Drew walked in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th inning. On the ground, right side to Chisenhall. He'll tag the bag and end the inning. Masterson's through 7. It's 7th inning stretch from Cleveland with the Indians on top 3-0. sort of Yan Gomes, David Murphy, and Mike Aviles. John Lackey at 76 pitches in the 7th inning. One striking out of the 2nd, grounding out to short in the 4th inning. Fly ball, center field. Jackie Bradley Jr. is back with room. Onto the track to make the catch. Fans want to read how Brock Holt is embracing the new challenges amid his hot streak with the Red Sox. Visit NESN.com/Red Sox. You can also find game updates, photos, and videos. And out in the 7th inning, David Murphy, the batter. Murphy 2 for 2 in the game. He is single to center and single to left. Chopped right side and by the dive. But Pedroia in the right center field. 3 for 3 is David Murphy on the night against John Lackey. You just cannot get him out.
It's amazing. You know, there are certain guys that you face and you just, for some reason, see the ball good. It's almost like you know what they got to throw you. A top spin ground ball this time that gets by Pedroia. And again, Lackey just kind of stares at Murphy at first base going, how do I get you out?
5th 3-hit game of the year for David Murphy. He's enjoying his time here with the Indians. On board with one down, Mike Aviles.
And they've been running. I mean, they've been taking off, not wasting any time.
Very aggressive against John Lackey tonight. Lackey will throw over, trying to keep him close. A strike to Mike Aviles, who's bounced into a double play, reached on a fielder's choice. That's out of the 9th spot for the Indians. On the ground to shortstop as Drew will go to second base for one. Throw to first will be late. Get the lead runner in Murphy for the second out here of the 7th inning.
And Pedroia got taken out pretty good at second base on that. I mean, they're in kind of a vulnerable position because the shortstop has to charge the ball. You've got to hang in there when you see Murphy right on top of Pedroia as they try to turn that one over. Well, just not hit hard enough for a double play.
Down Aviles at first base. Back up top for Michael Bourne. Center fielder for the Indians, who scored 3 times in this game. A walk, a triple, and a single. And has scored twice tonight for Cleveland. Lackey works here with 81 pitches. Chris Capuano is up in the Boston pen. The left hand, first action we've seen out there. Slings it over to first base sidearm style, and back to the bag is Aviles.
Aviles, another guy that'll run 5 on the season. Caught a couple of times. Indians 8th in the league in stolen bases. Red Sox 14th in the league in stolen bases.
There he goes. Pitch inside. The throw from Brzezinski is going to be, this time, not in time again. And again, the ball beats him there, but the tag does not. A good throws from A.J. Brzezinski's got nothing to show for it, though.
Yeah, this throw a little bit high, and Drew had to catch the ball, bring the ball back down to apply the tag. I think he might have missed the tag. Let's take another look. Does he get him or does he miss him? And it's going to be challenged again by John Farrell.
Tough tell whether he got him the first time or not. If he did, he's out. But
Yeah.
can't really tell. The challenge is John Farrell decides he wants to challenge.
What we can't see right there is whether he tagged him on the back of the leg before he got to the back. There's no question the ball beat him by quite a bit. Now here comes the tag. Does he get the leg first? If he does, he's out.
Of the night for the Red Sox. They won their first challenge. Their first base ended up being a double play for Boston. And missed the first swipe at him, and if he did, then he's safe.
Yeah, if he missed him, they made the correct call. You can see Drew come back up to try to tag him the second time.
Which makes you believe that perhaps he knows he didn't get him the first time.
Very good. Outstanding.
Why would you waste your time with a second tag?
Exactly.
So let's see what the umpires see here as they take a look at their second replay of the game.
And if they're looking at the same thing we've been looking at, it would be hard to turn over this call. This is not really a clear view.
Decided the double play and first base call earlier in the game that was overturned by the Red Sox. And so what one wants to do here is they take a good long look at this play that is under review.
We've seen more reviews tonight than we've seen in any game so far this season.
Jimmy Davis, crew chief, need to get the word from New York.
Anxiously awaiting the call. He made a throw that was there in plenty of time to get the base runner Aviles. Sox dugout waiting for the call.
Red Sox announcers waiting for the call. And he is safe. They're going to stick with it. The Red Sox lose their challenge.
That was a tough with him, and if they're looking at the same angles we're looking at, the same replays we're looking at, that is awfully tough to call. That's a tough one to call.
2 minutes and 55 seconds that review took. So 2 down, runner at second base with a stolen base from Mike Aviles, picks up his 6th steal of the year. Bourne with a count of 1-1. On the ground up the middle, Drew is there, gets himself back up again and throws out the speedy Bourne at first base to end the inning. Through 7, it's 3-0 Indians. Sox ticket partner has the best seats at the lowest prices to all the games at Fenway. All the 200% guaranteed. Right now, Ace Ticket has special savings on all Red Sox games. Treat yourself or someone special. Visit Ace Ticket or call 1-800-BUY-SEATS. 3-0 Indians on top of the Red Sox. This call to the bullpen brought to you by New England Ford dealers. Brian Shaw into the game here for the Cleveland Indians after 7 innings from Dustin Masterson. As Justin ended up with 7 innings, no runs, 3 hits. 4 struck out 10. Brian Shaw's 30th appearance, 2-1 with a 1.63 earned run average. It's hitting at 208 against the right-hander. A ground ball, right side. Kipnis to first for the out. Retires Jackie Bradley Jr.
I think one of the impressive things when you look at Shaw's numbers, only 4 walks, and that is so important for a guy coming out in the game late in the game, not giving up free passes.
He has held opponents scoreless in 25 of his last 29 outings. Pretty impressive outing tonight for Justin Masterson, 10 Ks.
Yeah, that's the best game he's had against the Red Sox in a while.
Brock Holt, who has been held hitless tonight, 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and struck out. Sox held to 3 hits in this game. Call the ball. 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1. Comfortable conditions tonight in Cleveland. Started the game at 81 degrees. 14,078 made it out to the ballpark tonight for game 1 of this series.
And we've also been pretty lucky the rain has held off. It was a few showers this morning in the area. It cleared off, and supposed to be some rain a little bit later tonight, possibly into tomorrow.
Count to Brock Holman, very patient in this at bat, but it's full now. Sox batting here in the 8th. They've had just 1 hit since the 3rd. Holt to left field and a base hit. He just takes it the other way, and he's got himself a 1-out single. Red Sox 4th hit of the game. It's time for the list tonight and the best pitchers in Indians history. Phillip, Bob Lemon, CC Sabathia, or Early Wynn. Have a comment about tonight's list. Tweet us at #NESSONList. One out, one on. Xander Bogaerts the batter. On ball softly hit foul. Shaw first out of the pen tonight for the Indians after 7 shutout innings for Justin Masterson. Bogaerts cues a foul off the end of the bat. Making ball 0-2.
Seeing the fastball, cut fastball, breaking ball from Shaw so far in this game. Right-handed so far against Shaw this year, hitting .098. 6 for 61.
Bogarts hits it in the air out towards deep right center field. Back goes Bourne towards the track and the wall, and that ball is going to be gone. A 2-run home run for Xander Bogarts. And the Red Sox are back within a run. Bogarts with his 4th home run of the year. Hits it off Brian Shaw. It's now 3-2 Cleveland.
Well, it had been like silent movies for the Red Sox throughout this ball game, and all of a sudden Bogart strikes. Looks like a cut fastball to right center field. Picks up number 4 on the season and gets the Red Sox to within 1 in this game. And that's against a guy that's been very, very stingy on right-handed hitters.
Dustin Pedroia takes strike 1. Xander Bogarts likes what he sees as it goes out of the ballpark.
2 for 4 9 for Bogarts.
Pedroia, soft ground ball towards second. Kipnis is charging, throws on the run and in time to get Pedroia. 2 down here in the 8th as Dustin retired this time.
That's going to bring Francona around in the dugout with the lefty Ortiz coming up.
Brian Shaw, who has been so good, especially against right-handers, gives up a 2-run home run. I think this is a 1-run game. Red Sox glad to see someone other than Justin Masterson, and right back in it again. The pitching change from Progressive Field in Cleveland. Well, video is submitted tonight from Chip and Lucy and from Lynn, Massachusetts. Got the whole backyard setup going there. Got the fire pit going. And they're watching Red Sox baseball tonight.
Pool going back there. Got everything. If you'd like to get your video on our broadcast, text 536-536, keyword Jerry.
David Ortiz coming up to face a new pitcher as into the game Mark Zepchinski. Sox saw him when he was in Toronto. His 30th appearance of the year, 0-1. 3.10 earned run average. 227 opponent batting average. As Ortiz takes a pitch outside. David has flied out to center, walked and singled. Red Sox now trailing by a run thanks to the 2-run home run by Xander Bogarts. Ortiz will take the strike, 1-1. In the air to right center field for David Ortiz. Michael Bourne is going to get there in front of the warning track to end the inning. Ortiz gives it a ride out to deep right center, but he is out number 3. Xander Bogaerts gets the Red Sox a little closer with a 2-run home run. It's 3-2 Indians. For the 8th inning, as Drupal Cabrera leads it off against John Lackey. Cabrera, Brantley, and Kipnis 2, 3, and 4 for the Indians. Now it's just a 1-run lead heading here into the bottom of the 8th inning. In the air to shallow right center field. Coming from right is Sizemore, but it'll be Jackie Bradley Jr. who makes the catch for the first out of the 8th. Boston Red Sox baseball in Nesson is brought to you by your Subaru dealers of New England. Sullivan Tire and Auto Repair. The new Scion TC. 22 Jump Street in theaters June 13th. And by Southwest Airlines. One out in the 8th inning for Michael Brantley. He has walked, grounded into a double play, and struck out. In there for a strike, and it's 1-1 to Brantley.
Back-to-back curveballs to start off Brantley. That's how he struck him out back in the 6th inning on a curveball.
Left center field on the move is Gomes. It'll hook back to him, and he makes the catch. A light bank an issue here. And he makes the grab for the second out of the 8th. Sox fans, enter the Red Sox World Series ring raffle for your chance to win incredible Red Sox World Series ring prizes. The grand prize is the 2004, 2007, and 2013 Red Sox World Series ring. Purchase raffle tickets and learn more about the second and third place prizes. Go to redsox.com/ring raffle. 2 down in the 8th. Jason Kipnis. Big strike 1. Sigel stole a base in the 6th inning. He was down 0-2. Pretty good outing for John Lackey. Tough first inning where he walked 2, and it turned out it was costly.
Yeah, and you look at the base hit too that drove in the 2 runs, just a little slice down that left field line.
Lonnie Chisenhall driving in Bourne and Brantley in the first. Line down the left field line, foul. Looking ahead to the top of the ninth, Brzezinski, Gomes, and Sizemore, the scheduled batters. Very high, 1-2. Away, 2-2.
Back to the fastball for Lackey.
It's outside, full count. He had been ahead 0-2.
Shook off the cut fastball, shook off the curveball, wanted to go with the fastball and just missed.
Walked on the 2 tonight, and they were all in the first inning. 3-2 pitch. On the ground is second base. Pedroia down to one knee to field and throw for the out that ends the 8th. We head for the 9th inning. Red Sox trailing by a run. The first 8 innings, thrown 93 pitches and has allowed 3 runs right now on the hook. Xander Bogaerts with a 2-run home run brings the Red Sox back within a run tonight. Justin Masterson was very good. In 7 innings, he struck out 10, giving up no runs. And Bourne at the top of the Indians' order, 2 for 3. And has scored 2 runs. We play along here to the 9th inning. And Cody Allen into the game here. His 29th appearance, 2-1 with a 3.09 earned run average. 29 strikeouts, 11 walks. Opponents hitting at 247 against him. A.J. Brzezinski to lead it off here against Allen. One with 3 saves on the year. Brzezinski has walked, grounded into 2 double plays. As he takes ball 1, a little bit low. Zepchinski got the final out of the 8th inning. Faced only 1 batter and got Ortiz to fly out to center field. Brzezinski grounds one right side. Kipnis to the outfield grass. Throws out A.J. for the first out of the 9th. There's Johnny Gomes. Gomes has struck out twice and fly to left. Takes strike 1.
And he's 6 on that fastball right there from Allen.
A little bit low, 1-1. Holmes takes strike 2. Same spot. This time it's called a strike.
Same spot, different pitch. Hot slider that time. Slider at 87 miles an hour, right at the bottom of the strike zone.
Gomes strikes out, 2 down. 3rd time tonight, Gomes down by way of the K.
Well, they've got ahead of Johnny Gomes tonight, and they've gone to that breaking ball away from him, and he's been chasing it.
Well, the Red Sox 7-game win streak on the line right now. With 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Down by a run, the former Indian. Grady Sizemore standing in. Swing and a miss. Back to the gas at 96. The Indians have won their last 3 games in a row, trying to make it 4. Down and in. Sizemore jackknifing out of the way. Swing and a miss. Elevates at 96.
He can rush it up there. There's no question about that. And especially when it's up high in the zone like that, it's just about impossible to catch up to.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down in the 9th. Sizemore stays alive. Inside 97 up there.
Yeah, he tries the exact same pitch, but that time Sizemore able to make contact and live to see another pitch.
Sizemore a check swing on a pitch in the dirt. And it's 2-2. Brzezinski to ground out a second. Struck out Johnny Gomes. That's the first 2 outs of the ninth. Sizemore takes it a little bit high for ball 3.
I don't know why, honestly, he's gotten away from his fastball. I mean, he tries the breaking ball, just misses the top of the strike zone, but it's been the fastball that's been very effective for him. I mean, 96, 97.
The payoff pitch. And Sizemore pops it up. From shortstop comes Asdrubal Cabrera, and the Indians win. The Red Sox 7-game winning streak comes to an end as the Cleveland Indians win by a run tonight. A 3-2 Indians victory. As John Lackey will take the loss in this game, Masterson the win. Will step aside and come back to Cleveland right after this.